same set of principles as metaphysicians all over the world, and there are 9, and we refer to them as our Declaration of Principles, and today I'm going to talk about number 3. Number 3 says, one such truth is that a true religion is living in obedience to nature's laws, which are both physical and spiritual. A correct understanding of the universal natural laws on the physical, mental, and spiritual planes of life and living will unfold the highest spiritual aspirations and attributes of our souls, which is the correct function of a true religion. Therefore, our third principle states, we affirm that a correct understanding of such expression and living in accordance therewith constitute a true religion. And in my hand here, I'm holding our healing prayer book. And every week we keep this on the table by the door, so when you come in, if you think of people that you know that need to be lifted up in prayer and healing, you can add their name to the book. And then we read them aloud and we send them what they need. If you didn't have a chance to put their name in the book this week, that's okay. You can say their name aloud as I read. Our word is our wand, and we'll bring them the healing that they need. D. Martin, Wilson Gaines, Ed Beal, Sheikah and Sela, Remy and Anna, the Adams family, Steve and Slyer, Haley, David, Annie, Lola, Dottie, and Key, Kevin Lee, Tim Jack, Tony Thorne, Jimbo, Darren, Vanessa and family, Stacy and family, Sam A, Diane, Rosalie and family, Buzz, Joan, Chris, Jennifer, and Duke, Millie, Yvonne and Ernie, Nikki and Bob, Roy and Helen, Michael McManus, Alice McManus, Joshua McManus, Ninetta McManus, Alex McManus, Haile Garcia, Kelly Chapeau, Jaja, Tamara, Hilda My Kittens, Meathead, Charm, Reverend Tim, Reverend Kevin, Tony, everybody in the church, Mother Earth, Reverend Kevin, Tim, Tony, Kelly, and Haley, Shmika, Wendy, Robin, Sandy, Frank, Elizabeth, Ramon, Kenya, Helga, Alea, Keisha, Brandon, Carter, Akeem, Deja, Cindy, Michelle Mitchell, Riley Guerra, Ethan Bowe, Elizabeth, Haley, Reverend Kevin, and Reverend Tim. Lots of prayers for the Reverends today.
I'll take it. I will take it. Good. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you. Beautiful. Welcome to our, we'll get the ethers right in just a moment, to our water communion ceremony. And this ceremony I created 4 years ago. I was looking back at my old notes, and I wanted to create something because we had created a flower communion ceremony for spring, of course. And I thought, well, why stop? Let's keep going. So I created something that was more about an indwelling, really an I can't think of the word, but basically an ingathering. That's the word I want to say. An ingathering from summer. So many of us go away on family trips with our kiddos to Disney, and we go off to the national parks, or go off to see grandma, grandpa, and brothers and sisters. And when we go to these places, we are always surrounded, I guarantee you, by water. There's always water in those locations. We're a water planet. And in those locations, we encourage people throughout the year to collect a little sample of water and bring that water back. We have water that is here, actually. It's a very small amount, but this is a small amount that is collected every single year from the Communal Well, and I keep it. And so this is water that comes from Our Lady of Lourdes, comes from many different holy places. It comes from places none of us are ever allowed to go, even. Because a dear friend of mine from Alaska, who actually made the beautiful cloth for us in the vibration of water, went to the ancestral lands of the native people, and because he was a marshal, he was able to go onto that sacred land and collect glacial water from very ancient land. So I'm very touched and blessed for all that you guys do, all that you bring. Many of you have, when you came in, you collected holy water. That's water that's been prayed over. I perform Reiki as well over that. And I just ask that the vibration of love be placed into that. And so you're going to share that little cup of water that you collected at the front door in our ceremony a little bit later. You're going to be sharing at the microphone. Don't be scared. If I can do it, you can do it. You're going to share one or two words about what you're going to offer into this community well, in the coming year. That could be music, it could be singing, it could be youth ministry, it could be volunteerism, leadership, love, just my life. Just showing up is important. If there were not those 8 people when I first showed up, I would have walked out the door. And that was a long time ago, 12 years ago. But those 8 people, because they showed up, there's one in the back, and the only one in the back. Because of those 8 people, I stand before you today making a difference. That's all it takes. Just showing up makes a difference. So in this ceremony, I'd like to begin to guide us through this message for today, because it's truly powerful, the symbol of water. Many of you know that my favorite spiritual guru is Paramahansa Yogananda. I'm always wearing my Rudrakshas because I'm often reading spiritual yoga. I don't practice downward dog. I don't do all of the happy Buddha or whatever it's called. I don't do all that. I should. But I practice philosophical yoga, and I study it regularly. And if you have not read the book, which I couldn't find this morning, I was rushing around, it's called Autobiography of a Yogi. That book changed my life. And how many of you know Steve Jobs? Right? Do you know what book he had in, actually one of the 3 books he had in his phone? The one I just mentioned, Autobiography of Yogi. When he passed away, the head of Apple, that was one of the 3 books that meant everything to him. What do you think the guests at his funeral received when they came to his funeral service? Autobiography of a Yogi. Because it's that powerful, higher truth. And this is what Master said to his disciples when explaining about the spirit of the human condition. We are all waves on the same one ocean, composed as ocean water is of the same substance, spirit. And some of the waves are higher than others. Some waves don't even want to distance themselves from the ocean. All waves, no matter how high, are in essence one and the same. The difference between those who are enlightened and those seeking lies only in their respective closeness to the ocean, in how conscious each one is of their essential reality. The greater the sense of ego, the taller that wave, and the greater in consequence their ignorance. That's powerful. The greater one's awareness of the ocean as one's sole reality, the smaller the wave, and the less their sense of having an individuality, meaning separateness from the God source. Right? That is powerful. Powerful what was just said. Today in the spiritual waters of this sanctuary, we are one. And today we gather in ceremony. We carry these gifts with us from our summer journeys. These are symbols of water. These symbols of water, they have inspired us with spiritual truth, with the energies when they were collected in the moonlight, as I heard over here a little while ago. There was inspiration with water. And I mentioned how we went on these journeys with our family, and I guarantee you, you and your family were somehow near water. Near a creek, near a river, near a lake, near an ocean. You were near water and it inspired you. Why do you think the prophets often sit by water? Because it calms the mind. When I demonstrate psychic readings, if you will, or messages from Spirit, often Spirit will show me the symbol of water because it represents beautifully the state of the mind. And so when I see water, depending on what that water is doing in my mind, my third eye, tells me what's going on with you emotionally. And it's Spirit, right? These gifts, these water symbols that we brought with us today, they may remind us of summer showers or rainstorms, thunderstorms, misty evenings, dewy mornings. Maybe they represent or inspire you because they came from ocean sides, pool sides, lake sides, river sides, creek sides, a lot of sides. Maybe you were swimming Maybe you were, what's that called? Parachuting over the water? What's that? Parasailing. There you go. Maybe you're doing that. Maybe you're just strolling along the beach and you collected it. But you were inspired. And I want you to think about what you were doing while you were there. Perhaps you found yourself in the presence of water during a moment of grief, of birth, of rebirth. And I want you all to reflect upon what you brought with you into the space today, because to reflect upon the spiritual, the emotional challenges that you've had begins a process of soul evolution, to self-analyze, to self-realize where we are, who we are, what we're doing, what we're about, what we're not doing that we should be doing. That's self-analysis. And that potentiates soul's progression, because we begin to analyze. That's why we come to this dimension. It may be pretty today, but this is a tough dimension. Spirit has told us many times that this is where the wisest and the oldest, some laugh and tease us and say the craziest, but the oldest, wisest souls come here. Because most souls would never want to come to the third dimension. It's difficult, because you're cut off from God's source. Well, you think you are, you're not. You're mentally cut off, right? You repeat the cycle of coming back into this dimension, and they talk about the mud and the muck of this dimension, because it's so difficult for them to reach. Fascinating. Just a little tidbit for you today. To reflect upon what spiritual or emotional challenges you experienced while you collect the water. That's what this is about. So what did you do while you were there in those watery places? Did the water strength inspire you? Did the serenity inspire you? Maybe the rising and the falling of that water. Maybe that brought you peace, brought you a new life. Did you stop to think about how interconnected we are to the water? Because water is the element that connects the air to the earth. Water is life. And the core symbolism of this water communion is that we all come from water, don't we? We are a species on a planet where life began in the oceans. As mammals, we begin in what? Water, right here. In a little bitty balloon sack, right? Full of water. Everything starts in water. Even cells, they're mostly water. But remember this, that there is no physical life without water. That's the beauty of this big, beautiful blue planet. This water planet, it brings life. It's made it possible. I want you to realize something very incredible about the water that I'm going to share today, about the water that you'll be sharing today. All of the water that we have access to has been around since the time of the dinosaurs. It never left the earth. It's been recycled. The water today has been touched by the tears of Princess Diana. Jesus may have walked on the water. The waters came down from the Himalayas to the people to form Mother Ganges. The waters create our beautiful oceans and our beautiful Everglades. This water is ancient because it never leaves the atmosphere of the earth. Yesterday's puddles are truly tomorrow's clouds. And so the great recycling process continues inside this gorgeous big blue biosphere of life. All because two little elements kissed and they got married. Hydrogen and oxygen. There's my nerd moment for you. Right? But listen up. Water is prevented from recycling back into the earth. Well, actually, when it is, what happens to water? What does it do? It stagnates. Oh. When water is not moving, water stagnates. Water just sits there with no replenishing source. It stagnates, and that's an exact replica of the human condition. When we sit in life, when the water of our minds and our potentials don't move forward, we stagnate spiritually. Beautiful example. The analogy is identical to the living waters of this church too, because when we fail to support this church through our volunteerism, maybe the potluck foods that you may or may not have brought today, when we fail to contribute as a singer, a musician, a servant, even just a family member, you guys are my brothers and sisters. This is my spiritual house. I have a human house down the street, but this is my spiritual house. When I fail to contribute, what happens? The church stagnates. You guys don't come back. Church doesn't grow. Can't afford to pay for musicians and pretty flowers and things. Can't pay for the lights. When we contribute to a community, we begin to grow, and that's what we talk about in living waters. Being a part, being the inspiration that brings life back into a community. That's what we have to do. So when you get out of bed, and you bring your life, you give an honest offering of time, talent, and treasure, you make a difference. You bring life to this ocean, this family of one. Actually, an honest demonstration of gratitude for all that God has shared with you, giving back to the source of all things, then that's when we create a space that transforms lives to greatness. When we give back in gratitude. Gratitude is key. What is gratitude? The core of that? Love. We know that. You can't be in gratitude without love. Right? You can't be hateful, selfish, because gratitude doesn't work that way. Gratitude is love. What is God? Love. The universe is a loving vibration. And so, I would ask each of you to look inside yourself right now in this moment. And before you walk up to participate in the ceremony that we have created for you today, I want you to ask yourself one question. What am I willing to give of myself to this church family, to my church community in the coming year? How will I water with blessings, that's a good one, my brothers and my sisters in this community, in this our spiritual home? And in just a moment, we're going to call you forward, and I want you to think about what of yourself could you offer into the community. Remember I mentioned this little thing right here, this microphone? You're going to offer one word, maybe two. Don't go crazy. Got a lot of people today. One or two words. And just say whatever's in your spirit. It could be divine love. It could be volunteerism. It could be youth leadership. Whatever you have on your spirit you want to say into the microphone and share that with the community. That's what we ask you to do. So I want us to join together now in love in sharing our water gifts that we brought today. You don't need to be a member to participate in our ceremony. Just somebody who wishes to dedicate something of themselves into this spiritual house of love. All right? So it may be a gift of singing, leadership, cooking, service to others. Simple. Simple. Just like the drops of water that make up the ocean, I want you to come forward. I want you to blend your waters. And I want you to please speak into the microphone one or two words to dedicate, to help make this place a place of transformation. Because you, and you, all of you, create the space that transforms lives. I show up and shine the light, but you transform the people who walk through these doors. It's because of you that this place is a success. Glenn, if you wouldn't mind playing my video, please. And now if you're able to bring your own, if you were not able to bring your own gift of water today, I saw one or two people come in. If you would go to the blue table in the back, collect a small portion of water, and we invite you to participate in the ceremony today. And you're going to pour that in with your love. You'll also speak into the microphone as well. All right? Go and collect your water. Friends, all are welcome to participate today. Ushers, if I could have two ushers, please, to demonstrate for everyone how we do this. Please go to the microphone first. Share what you're giving into the community, and then pour your love, your blessing into the community well.
Energy.
Beautiful. Tim?
Love and music.
And then ushers, if you would help bring the people forward. Thank you.
Love and light. Unity and community. light and love forever.
Good job. Future minister right there.
Smiles and laughter.
Love and kindness.
Beautiful.
Leadership, technology, and educational tutoring.
Wise counsel.
Support and spiritual growth. Divine love, friendship, and peace, song.
Love.
Peace.
Service to others and serenity.
Healing and prosperity.
Light and reach.
Elaine, if you would return us to our slides, please. To the slide that says blessing the water. More Lauderdale Beach looks a little windy today. I wish that's Hawaii, actually. That's where I wanted to go, so let me find a Hawaii video. Next slide. One more? One more? Oh, okay. So that's fine. It's not in your slide set. All right. What I'm going to do then, to improvise, I'm going to say your words. You repeat them after me, because now's the time to bless the water. So lift up your hands, send your heart through your voice towards this well of water, the well of love of the center, really the love, the center of this family. And repeat these words after me. Bless this water, we are many.
Bless this water, we are many.
Bless this water, we are one.
Bless this water, we are one.
Spirit of life ever growing,
Spirit of life ever growing,
flowing through community.
flowing through community.
Loving Spirit shape us, guide your people.
Loving Spirit shape us, guide your people.
Truth within brings unity.
Truth within brings unity.
Bless this water, we are many.
Bless this water, we are many.
Bless this water, we are one.
Bless this water, we are one.
Bless our hearts with love's capacity.
Bless our hearts with love's capacity.
Bless our minds with gentle song.
Bless our minds with gentle song.
Love within resounding strong.
Love within resounding strong.
And lastly, bless this water, we are many.
Bless this water, we are many.
Bless this water, we are one.
Bless this water, we are one.
Good job. Good job. May our gathering today be an incredible blessing for us all. May it inspire us today and the coming days to move forward towards those hopes and those dreams that we hold in our spirit. The moving waters in our lives, that's your hopes and your dreams. So what are your hopes? What are your dreams? What's your passion? Have you taken the time in meditation? We should be meditating every day. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever you can do. Look inward, go into the Christ in mind, to that higher altar, and just begin to become self-aware, to notice what you desire. Notice what makes you happy. Notice what makes you not happy. Notice the people who drain you. Notice the people who uplift you and support you. And you surround yourself with the positivity, the love, the vibration of higher truth that you feel in those people that support you. The people who don't, God bless them on their way. Right? It's okay. It's allowed. Even family, I've had to do it. My soul will see my family in the future, in the spirit world. I'm not worried that I won't see them again. If they don't support you, I like that. That vibration supported it. If you need to take care of your hopes and your dreams, to bring them forth, to water them so that they bloom, you've got to take care of you first. Then we take care of our family and friends, and then the community. That's where it all begins. Remember this. We are God in expression, aren't we? These are God's hands. Your hands are God's hands. Your mouth, your smiles, your eyes, that's God's mouths and smiles and eyes. Your kind words, that's God's kindness coming forward. We are each divinity expressed here on this beautiful planet because there is nowhere God is not. Amen? Amen. Namaste. Namaste.
I need you. You need me. We're all a part of God's family. Stand with me. Agree with me. We're all a part of God's family. It is God's will that every peace of life. You are important to me. I need you in my life. You are important to me. I need you in my life. Everybody, do your best to sing right along with me. I need you, you need me, we're all a part of God's family. Stand with me, agree with me, we're all a part of God's family. It is God's will that so God's will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you in my life. If you could turn to someone and say, I need you in my life. That is awesome. We thank you so very much. In just a moment, thank you for the beautiful ceremony. The water communion is my favorite one. And I pause because then when we do flower communion, I go, oh, it's my favorite one. And then when we do another one, I go, oh, it's my favorite one. But today, water communion is my favorite one. That's for sure. Just awesome, showing the unity. And it just feels so good that we all have collective hearts that want to love humanity as a whole together. So thank you, Reverend Kevin, for your hard work in presenting us with the beautiful, beautiful ceremony and the understanding of who we are. Amen. Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful. And in just a moment, we also have a very special blessing for our first-time visitors that Reverend Kevin has prepared. And before he comes, I want to take a moment to just talk to you about some of the things that are happening. We have some very exciting things that are coming up. I'll be very, very brief, but we have food afterwards. That's one for everyone. But I want to mention something very, very special. By the way, later on we're going to take an offering, and so you see the envelopes in the seats. You're welcome to even begin to start filling that out now if you don't want to rush with it, but they're there. But anyway, on the first Saturday of February, right? It sounds like it's a long way away, but how many of us say, oh, that's a long way away, and then you next up the next morning and you're, oh my Lord, it's right here. So first Saturday of February, we're going to try something in conjunction with Metaphysical Chapel and a brand new nonprofit charity that Reverend Kevin, myself, and Tony and myself, excuse me, have begun. And it is called the Life Mastery Project. And it is a community-based project that is going to be used to help people better their lives. Yes, there are many charities like that, and we embrace them all and love them all. This is a little bit different, has a little bit better twist, where we're going to include the mental health care to help give people a lift up. And as we say in the street, it's called a come up. When you're looking for a come up, you just want a better and better thing in your life, right? So it's going to help you have a come up. But so many exciting things, but it's a great thing that we're going to have on this Saturday evening, and it's called the Life Mastery Event. And once a month, starting in February, we're going to have Life Mastery events where everybody comes, whether you attend this church or not. It's not a church event. It's a Life Mastery event to help you do better. It doesn't matter if you're a doctor and a lawyer and want to do better, or if you're a secretary and want to do better, okay? Mental health-wise, there are many high-end professionals who are stuck in their life because of mental health, and they need help, and they need to push with mental health. And we're going to help them get unstuck so they can do better and move forward, no matter what level of job that you have. So it's going to be very, very exciting, energetic, inspirational. Everybody say, first Saturday, February.
First Saturday, February.
I'll be there.
I'll be there.
I'll bring somebody.
I'll bring 10 people.
There you go. I didn't make it promise, but at least I got the affirmation out of you, right? So we're going to be there. We're not even going to have church the next day. We're going to put all of our eggs in that basket for that Saturday night. So please start talking about that. The Life Mastery Project, once a month. It's going to be like a Tony Robbins kind of thing where we rah, get filled up and pumped up with good stuff, guest speakers and all of those things. So it's going to be very exciting. So thank you for allowing me to take all the time to share that, but it took that much to get it out. So we'll be promoting them. Come to the microphone if you would please and share that. That would be wonderful.
So Tim asked you to invite people to come along, and we would really love it if you would invite people that you know that work in industries that may be interested in partnering with the Life Mastery Project. So if you know mental health care workers or life coaches or anybody that works with people that would be interested in participating with us, bring them, because the more we can get that exposure, the more we can do for our community. So thank you.
That is Tony, by the way. Yeah, Tony. So thank you all so very, very much. And at this time, Reverend Kevin's going to come. We have a very special blessing for our first-time visitors. So thank you.
All right, so first-time guests, you guys stay seated because this is all about you. All of us regular folks, let's stand up and let's celebrate our first-time guest today the way we always do. Lift up your hands, send your heart through your voice, and say this affirmation with me. We recognize you.
We recognize you.
We see who you truly are.
We see who you truly are.
The spiritual image, the very likeness of God.
The spiritual image, the very likeness of God.
You are magnificent.
You are magnificent.
And today we celebrate your light.
And today we celebrate your life.
And welcome to the Metaphysical Chapel. If we can have our ushers ready, please. It's now time for the offering segment. Glenn, is there another slide? Okay. So what I'd like to do, if you would bring me an envelope, please. Okay, so this is our abundance offering envelope. This is what we return to the universe, the portion of the blessing that we are blessed with every single day, every single week, every single month of the year. The universe is blessing us. We karmically receive all of the resources in our lives because we've earned them, because we've spiritually earned them, because we physically earned them by showing up and actually clocking in. But there's a lot of reasons why the universe blesses us. We live in a very abundant universe. And we have to understand that we have to stand in gratitude as we return a portion. So we do that in our right hand. This is our giving hand. So lift up your offering and say this offering with me. Today I affirm my prosperity.
Today I affirm my prosperity.
I raise my offering to give thanks.
I raise my offering to give thanks.
For all that God has done for me.
For all that God has done for me.
Bless and multiply this gift of gratitude.
Bless and multiply this gift of gratitude.
For the superabundance and prosperity.
For the superabundance and prosperity.
Of the Metaphysical Chapel of South Florida.
Of the Metaphysical Chapel of South Florida.